he is, and I say this as a student of history, the reason that he is one of the three greatest Americans this country's ever produced, with all his flaws, because General Washington had flaws and President Lincoln had flaws, is that he knew when he went back to Mar-a-Lago after they had stolen the election so obviously, and people had turned against him, people in his own administration, and Republicans. Remember, that's one of the theories of the case of the precinct strategy, that we had to take out the Republicans that were not there to defend this republic. He knew when he came back and did this that this was all awaiting him. Look at that individual that came down the escalator yesterday, and look how battle-worn he is. Let's be blunt. Because he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and nobody's taking the weight off. You talk about a time for choosing, and Reagan's time for choosing, that magnificent speech. That was nothing compared to now. That was nothing. This is like one of the greatest crises in the history of this republic. If you're a student of history, go back and tell me another time, right before the Civil War and right before the revolution got kicked off, and in those early days of the revolution. We're here now. And time for a gut check. We don't need Rhodes Scholars for this, okay? This is about political muscle. This is about will. This is about stick-to-itiveness and grit and determination. And yes, I realize that there are people now that have to do this and will do this. Just like in the Revolution, just like in the Civil War, that may not be around and be the long term in rebuilding it. That's a different skill set. But Ecclesiastes tells us there's a season for everything, and we're in a season of war. And if you don't believe that, you're wasting your time watching the show, and you're wasting your time listening to the show. Because we are about the vanguard. And the vanguard does not come with no cost. Look at Trump. Understand something. On July 11th, he's going to walk into with the same prosecutors and the same judge and the same demons in that media, right? In that Soviet show trial, and he's going to get sentenced. And don't think they're not working through a prison term. And most importantly, because I think they realize that'd be too tough to sell, home confinement or whatever they need to do to restrict him to taking his message out to the American people. They don't want Wildwood, New Jerseys throughout the country. They don't want South Bronx in Chicago. They don't want the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600 in Los Angeles. They don't want that. They fear that. They hate the people. If they did not hate the people, why would they put them in such servitude today? Did you see in the South Bronx? You see how they live? You see what this system has done? That's why they hate Trump. He's a traitor to his class. And as a traitor to his class, he must be made an example. And I'm tired. This is not normal times, and these are not normal issues. There's so much we should be fighting for, but we got to lance the boil on this first. But Ecclesiastes tells us there's a season for everything. And this is a season of war. We are not going to rationally debate this. Do you see what happened in that Manhattan court? Is that about debate? Is that about the rule of law? Do you see last night, Jack Smith drops another one on the gag order on President Trump with Mike Davis and Steve Bannon. They took us out as an exhibit, I think. But once again, over and over again, they got to gag Trump. And what is the House of Representatives doing about it? It takes a brave, courageous federal judge down in Florida to do it. The people in the House should be ashamed of themselves, and I'm sick and tired of strongly worded letters, and I'm sick and tired of them going on Fox and taking hits and then linking to their page and raising money on the carcass of Donald Trump. That's what's got to stop.